In Left 4 Dead, each survivor has their own diverse personality and quirks that construct the foundation of who they truly are. These characters hold a massive role in the franchise, unable to be replaced by any other ideas as they are simply perfect, and so I wanted to traverse below the surface and analyze them in their entirety, so let's begin with everyone's favorite moron. Ellis was born and raised in Savannah, Georgia, USA, the youngest of the group being 23 at the time of the outbreak, that we play as in the sequel, Left 4 Dead 2. A junior mechanic that presents himself in a goofy manner, always wanting to impress and show off to others with his outgoing self. His constructive personality shines and makes it very obvious that he was intended to be a major goofball, as Ellis will leave us with remarkable quotes and voice lines such as,
"I do like taters."
He is the friendliest and most optimistic of the group, and honestly of everyone we learn about. Being very inclusive, Ellis makes sure that the other members don't fall under the horrors of what we face, typically hitting us with stupid remarks that leave a genuine impression of care and teamwork. Obviously, not everything he says is helpful or even needed, but we love this communication anyways. But the others, typically not so much. Often spitting out arbitrary stories of himself and Keith going on crazy adventures, Nick in specific doesn't seem to be the biggest fan of these tales.
Wow, really? Glad you shared that, Ellis.
Although his apparent obliviousness to the gravity of the situation implies that he is rather naive or even unintelligent, I disagree with. He manages to keep up very well and even takes the lead of the crew in certain situations. He's smart and knowledgeable, being able to utilize things around him for his benefit, such as guiding the survivors to escape with Jimmy Gibbs Jr.'s car in the Dead Center finale. Ellis is very similar to Lewis. They're pretty much intended counterparts, but Yeehaw is more dynamic and expanded upon, ranging from a badass leader that loves guns to the little brother of the group, whereas Lewis remains a pussy throughout his story. In the beta, Ellis's design was very different, just as the other survivors, sporting differently colored clothing, basically just swapping the colors from his overalls to his shirt, and, well, vice versa, then replacing the hat to the modern blue trucker cap. Original concept art for Ellis shows that he was originally going to wear a John Deere hat, but that was changed, likely for licensing reasons. Interestingly, Ellis is similar to Nick Ramos from Dead Rising 3, another zombie series released originally in 2006 by Capcom. They are both young mechanics and risk takers who are mostly naive. They are also both passionate about their own women, that being Zoe for Ellis and Annie for Nick. Now, according to the Wikipedia, his favorite weapons consist of both the starting submachine guns and the long-range rifles, which doesn't particularly make sense to me. Being such an ecstatic and manic individual, you would think that he'd prefer the grenade launcher or the chainsaw. Hell, even an M16 would make more sense than claiming his weapon of choice would be the pistols. It only remotely makes sense that he loves the snipers, but I don't see why he'd favor after being subjected to a much wider variety with opportunity given from the outbreak. Now, when we mention the relationships of the survivors, the three seem to have mixed opinions on the young man. While this goes deeper and fluctuates through the story, neglect of care is often what Ellis is shown. Nick is definitely the most harsh, usually the one to shut down on his stories and whimsical attitude, but these two grow very close, but that asshole attitude still remains, as it seems later on they only continue to be this way to express gratitude for how they met and work together through thick and thin, always getting under each other's skin. There are tons of hilarious voice lines between the two, like,
Your mom's car. Your
Well, see,
mom's
that
car.
was
Your
just
mom's car. Your mom's car.
Well, see, that was just uncalled for.
Your mom's car.
Well, see, that was just uncalled for.
Your mom's car.
or how Nick will call Ellis nicknames such as Cletus and Goober. At first it would seem like the two hate one another, but they are very careful in each other's health. On the other hand, Coach is a lot more tame with Ellis in the sense of being more understanding. The two get along well and work together by using their knowledge of geography and local culture to navigate their way through Savannah, that being where Dead Center takes place, all while making connections to the Midnight Riders and Whispering Oaks amusement park. Coach is definitely more lighthearted with Ellis, but still asserts dominance and professionalism as they traverse together, although he isn't a complete saint, as he will make a comment in the passing campaign that Ellis can be left behind to make room, although it is more than likely a joke. And for the last survivor, we have Rochelle, the most patient and understanding of Ellis between them all. Ro always views the world how it truly is and tends to keep things realistic, siding with Nick as he is arguably the best choice to lead the team. Despite this, she remains calm and never patronizes Ellis, likely because she is older than him, being 29 compared to 23. Although there does seem to be a brother and sister bond that goes on, as Rochelle will stand up for Ellis when Nick begins to belittle him, and for that they hold the strongest bond. The voice actor for Ellis is played by Eric Ladden, being around 30 years old at the time of Left 4 Dead 2's development. Now, I couldn't find a lot of information regarding whether he auditioned or was reached out to by Valve, but it was the kickstart of his early acting career. Eric wasn't widely known at the time, but his voice and personality had attracted Valve, and so he was casted, and as you can tell, they're very similar. After the release, Eric had later on and previously worked with other studios to play in movies such as Scooby-Doo Shaggy Showdown, Annabelle, and a ton of others. Basically, he's a legend, just as the others. Jesse McKinney, on the other hand, is the face of Ellis. His facial features are what you see in the game, not Eric. Being 28 years old, he did motion capture and was hired through a casting call. It's very confusing, but there is information out there on it. You can check out this podcast where I have a link in the description, along with credit to every other respective owner. His upbeat and fun design makes it hard not to like him. The true scale of all the interactive quotes and reactions provide endless fun. There is always a surprise on what he'll say next. Ellis is definitely the most popular character across both games, and you can't argue with it. I personally achieved the same amount of joy regardless of which character I'm given or have chosen, but Ellis is pretty damn funny. The dynamics between everyone is so good that Left 4 Dead 2 won the Better with Friends award at the first Steam Awards event in 2016. It's always a blast when you introduce a friend to the game and you catch the reaction to some of the things Ellis will say. There's a ton of unique voice lines for every character, and Ellis in specific has 2,615, according to his mechanic voice folder. The number reflects real audio assets that are inside of the game's files. It's pretty much the most accurate count that is known and publicly available. Ellis is just a kid trying to get by. His fleshed out and honorific mannerism allows him to remain as a beloved character amongst the gaming community. He's very easy to recognize and falls short of any real downsides. Ellis is fun and different from your average protagonist. In a world where unimaginable horror roams the street, you need that beacon of hope to stay by you, because if they were to disappear, you'd wish you hadn't neglected them all that time. Look, I could continue for hours. As I've already said, there's so much depth behind these characters that going over the quotes alone would drive me insane. But to sum it up, I love Ellis. Everyone loves Ellis. There's such a perfect balance between the improv and when things need to be silent. The survivors may see him as an immature rat, but at heart they all know that they need each other, and leaving Ellis behind would never be an outcome. I just quickly wanted to say a thank you for all the thoughtful and wise comments I read. Interacting with everyone has been the best part of this experience so far. I also wanted to apologize for audio issues. I just bought a new microphone the other day and so I'm still working out the quirks. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed and thank you.